Humanity First Movement weekly volunteer meeting. It is an exciting meeting tonight as we are voting in our next few members of our interim board. We have 5 members exiting, one of which is up for re-election, and then we'll be adding 6 new members to the team. So it's a very exciting evening. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Let's get going. So our agenda for tonight, we're going to do a quick election update. We'll talk about the format of this and every week's Sunday meeting. We'll do a quick overview of who we are for any new folks we have on the call tonight. You'll hear updates from the board as well as working groups. We'll see who our new board members are. And then we're going to have Jermaine Johnson on the call tonight, who is running in South Carolina to be as our candidate spotlight. And then we'll switch into open discussion. Who was talking for the interim board elections? Is that Catherine?
I think it's Brendan.
Brendan.
Because I'm a candidate.
All right.
All right. Yes. Yeah, so we're giving you 10 minutes to finish hitting send on your ballots. In true Yang Gang fashion, we're all a bunch of procrastinators, you know, so no worries. Let's get a little bit better about that next time around.
I don't understand. Why? I thought we were going to hear from the candidates, but we're supposed to be voting right now.
Oh, I think they had like read statements that people were supposed to read. I mean, I voted this afternoon. So.
Yeah, so the election was opened up, pre-registration opened, I believe, on Tuesday and closed today at noon. Got extended to noon Pacific, and then got extended until I believe 5 Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. And then voting registration was supposed to close at the beginning of the vote entry was supposed to end at the beginning of the meeting, but we're giving an extra 10 minutes. This was announced for the last 2 meetings, this process.
Right. Yeah, if you've been following, you should know that we've already made more allowances for people that didn't have all the information. But yeah, we will be closing the voting very soon. So please get your ballots in. And then, yeah, let's do a quick roll call.
Where would I be able, where am I supposed to find the ballot?
Okay, did you register to vote, Faye?
I just got a thing today that I've been added to Humanity First Movement Board voting at 3:44 p.m.
Okay. So yeah,
I don't know what this means.
Yeah, you must have registered a little bit late. So Catherine, could you double check for Faye to make sure that she got her voting form? You should have gotten 2 emails from the Humanity First Movement Board.
The email you're looking for starts with the open bracket HFM-voting close bracket.
Yeah, I just put the voting form in the chat, but if you vote but didn't pre-register, the voting form is going to ignore your vote. But everyone that pre-registered, I feel like spam was eating folks' voting forms. So you can take that, and we said that the voting would be open till 8:45.
Right. So if no one else has any questions, I'd like to just do a quick roll call while we get those ballots in. So yeah, Angela Mendoza.
President accounted for.
Sorry, Brendan, I accidentally muted everyone.
I'm here. Aria's here.
All right. Brian. Brian, you might be having trouble with your mic. Everyone was just muted.
I don't see a Brian here yet.
Okay. Colleen?
Present.
Ian?
I'm here.
Catherine?
Hey, how's it going?
We're all doing well, Catherine. Massey?
Massey had a family emergency. He might be tapping in a little bit later tonight, but he had to fly out to another part of Texas today.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Ooh,
Well.
I hope that turns out well.
that's unfortunate, poor Massey. Well, we'll talk about that in a
any
little bit.
details about
So,
I think if it's a personal matter, we shouldn't be diving into that on a recorded stream
Oh, okay.
thing.
Okay, that makes sense. My bad. My bad. But I mean, whatever it is, like my prayers are with him.
thanks. I bet he'll like seeing that in this recording. Yeah. Love you, Massey. Nicholas,
Yo, yo.
Philip. Is Philip in the house?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was muted.
No
Right
worries.
here.
Great. Thanks for being here. Steven?
Present.
Excellent.
And I'm here.
And Yenny. And you're here too. Okay. Hey, thank you all for applying as candidates to serve in the interim board. I've just finished up 10 weeks myself. It's been an honor and a privilege. You're due for a lot of work, but there's also a lot of fun when you're talking with Erica McLeod and the special guest from Humanity Forward. It's very insightful, and whoever is the best candidate for the future of our movement, I'm sure will win in this election. So thanks for being here. Thanks for casting your votes. Yenny, are we closing the voting form right now? Or
That's not me.
Yeah, we can just start the meeting and then we'll get to it after the working groups, I guess.
That's where the
Okay.
slide is.
sounds good.
One thing I do want to say for the members who don't end up being elected into the board is that we had quite a few people who who ran for the last interim board and then did not receive a position, but then have been incredibly impactful, sometimes more helpful than like some of us on the board and in some of the not side projects, but in some of the working groups and other things they've been involved in. And so if you aren't elected, please continue to help out. Please continue to help us move forward, and then, run for the next one. And when we see your hard work, that will definitely change people's opinions and how they vote going forward.
What if you want to vote for everybody? I mean, you know what? Because 90% of
Yeah, I'm with you, Jacqueline.
Yang Gang, everybody that I met in Yang Gang so
We
far is like
we already
really
15 minutes in. We've got a lot of slides to get through. And so I'm just going to ask that we keep the chatter to a minimum. Let the slides go through, and then we have the discussion that happens at the end.
Awesome. Thank you, Yenny. I was just going to say, we're going to go into the meeting format now. So we try to get these meetings started as soon as possible to respect all of your time. Our goal is to keep these to 1 hour long. Since we do have voting today, it tends to take a tiny bit longer. But each working group, which we're moving into now, will have 3 to 5 minutes to present. Time warning is given at the 4-minute mark. GPS, can you be our timekeeper, please? I don't think we called for one earlier, unless somebody else is doing it. During these presentations, we don't take any questions. However, there is open comment and question at the very end. Questions and comments we ask you to keep to 1 minute long. So at 45 seconds, you'll be given a verbal indicator of time. So who
just
are we?
I can do time. I'm just currently on mobile right now, so I have to squint to make sure I know how much time each section is.
Okay.
I can cover time for GPS.
Thanks, Gray.
Appreciate you, Gray.
Sweet. So who are we and what are we doing? Why are we here? This is a network that evolved out of the Yang 2020 volunteer leaders, volunteers, some staff members as well. We're working with Humanity Forward to define our path forward to potentially a 2024 run, and in the interim, making some positive change around the country. So this is our weekly meeting. You'll hear a rundown from each working group. You can get involved in these different working groups by joining our Slack workspace if you're not already there. And then that is a lot of who we are. There's a really great post on Medium about who we are and what we're doing and the revival of the Yang Gang national situation. So we also have a volunteer code of conduct. So if you are new, please fill out this, or please read through our volunteer code of conduct. The expectation for any volunteers to hold up the same Humanity First values that we and Andrew and anybody else in the Humanity Forward and Humanity First movement would expect and hold themselves to. So it's mostly treat people with respect. Think about humans, just be a wonderful human in general. So please read that and make sure that you're upholding those standards. So our vision, Ian, or whoever's here for vision.
No, this is actually our vision. This isn't the vision slide.
Oh, this is, okay. This is our vision, but a future where data-driven governments prioritize intrinsic human value and quality of life. And that is our wonderful HF movement logo. So thank you all. I'm going to pass it over to the interim board update.
I think I'm covering that tonight. Okay, cool. Yep. So in light of Mental Health Awareness Week, we have the interim board talked about the intensity of meetings, the time commitment that we and everybody else has been putting into this movement, and recognizing that it really is a lot and also like difficult to keep up with when it comes to dealing with your own personal well-being and your own mental health, especially in light of COVID and the mental strain that's been on all of us. So one of the things that we proposed and we're going to do for ourselves and encourage going forward is to really change the frequency in the meetings that we've had. All of our working groups have been meeting every week. And so we are encouraging them to push that back to maybe every other week, every 3 weeks. All of the board members have been coming to meetings every week, and we're going to change that so that 3 of us are going to be leading as the new board gets voted in. 3 of us are going to be running the weekly check-in meetings, and then that way the other board members, if they need a night off, if they need some time to take care of themselves, to be with their family, to do other things, they've got that. In addition, this announcement was last week on the slides, but I wanted to speak on this again, is that we've had summit meetings, and part of the easier way to keep track of everything that's going on, both for our priorities and also to come into alignment to make sure we're not overworking ourselves or like doing work that another working group is participating in. We're gonna have bi-weekly meetings with all of the working group leads as well as the interim board. And we're gonna use that to, like I said, consolidate overlapping work and kind of get to a consensus when it comes to our priorities. So that way, when we're juggling all the different tasks that are going on within the Humanity First movement, we know, hey, if we've got too much going on, this is the top priority. This is the thing that needs to be worked on. And some of the other things can be tabled for an additional week or 2 or be pushed back. So below on this slide are the priorities for the next 1 to 2 months. And we will continue to update those as we meet with the working group leaders and each member of the interim board.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gray. It is Mental Health Awareness Week, so please be aware and keep your mental health in mind with all the decisions you're making. It's super easy to get really involved in this program because there's so much to do, but you won't be able to do it long-term if you're not taking care of yourself first. So just a reminder, we are now going to be closing voting. We are a little over 15 minutes into the meeting, so voting will now be closing. But this is, oh, I guess, Gray, if you want to talk a little bit about this too.
I believe Kimberly's given this one.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
Kimberly. For it.
Yeah, and Peter, please feel free to chime in if you have anything to add. Sorry, I'm having a little headache tonight, so I'm a little out of it. So Humanity Forward Mental Health Awareness Week, they have a full schedule planned. Andrew is going to be doing a live Instagram at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, so please tune in for that. There's a link for that here in this slide. And then on Tuesday, we will be doing a hang. Andrew will be in attendance with Conrad. And that's going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern. You can sign up for that through the traditional means, through the Humanity Hang calendar, and there's a link for that there as well. Wednesday, we will be doing like a seminar. You can sign up for that through this link, and it takes you to a page where you just put in your email and it'll send you an email back with a link it should be a really fun or interesting conversation. That's on Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern regarding mental health resources for the financially insecure at this time, which is very important. As we know, mindset of abundance really is affecting us right now, and that is a challenge during this time. So please attend that. It might be useful and informative. Thursday, we'll be doing something with Dear World. A little not clear on how this is all going to play out. Eric and I did have a meeting this morning regarding all of this, and she's getting some more information from the team on how this will be structured. If you notice, the next item down for Friday is also something with Dear World, and it will be by invitation only. We're also trying to get some more information on exactly how that will play out as well. So Dear World is an entity that helps people to share their stories and conversate with each other about their history and their life. So hopefully that will be informative and good for all of us in this time. And then Friday we'll be doing another hang like regular. There's going to be a special guest, and we do not know who that is at this time. It is a surprise. That's at 6 o'clock on Friday. So please sign up for any and all of these. We encourage you to be in attendance as much as possible, and we look forward to seeing you.
Oh, quick question.
Yeah.
So how do you get an invitation?
So all of the links will provide you with ability to sign up for these things here. So if you just use this slide, and I'll be posting all of this on the Slack channels as the days go by with this information. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I know I'm really looking forward to how many fun and different kinds of things that are coming up this week. So
yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, Humanity Forward has really put some effort into making this a full and robust schedule for this coming week. So I hope that everyone can participate.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, on to mission group.
And that's me again. So we have drafted, we have currently three and a half statements right now. We're narrowing it down for our mission statement, and we will be hopefully, fingers crossed, having something for you all to approval vote next week as we go forward. Our team is working very hard, and we appreciate your patience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly. And just a note, folks that are speaking, if you want to introduce yourself briefly before you start talking, there are some folks that may not know.
Sorry. Thank you. Yes, I'm Kimberly. Hi, everyone. San Diego here.
Awesome. So regional organizing and growth.
That's me. Hey, everyone. So yeah, I have been in both of these groups for a while now. There's a lot of crossover, so we decided to combine the slide. So Grow 10X had a productive meeting on Thursday, but we still haven't built up the solid core that we need to be productive in that group. So we ask everyone to join us there to discuss growth strategies and techniques that we're going to be using in our chapter out model. And we will be picking that up on not this Thursday, but on the 28th. And we'll also be trying to nail out a better schedule so that everyone can make it. We did come out with this best growth practices survey that we'd love everyone to fill out and to post around their communities to the rest of the Yang Gang. We have questions that we want answered about communications, outreach, training, everything that could be related to growth. And we'll be compiling these answers into a manual for best practices called the Guide to Growth. That's going to help us do what the Bernie Sanders campaign couldn't. On our second run, we're going to have 10 times more people available to drive the campaign of whoever our leader is. And yeah, so then in regional organizing, we've been doing a lot of work in there to organize regional hangs if your region hasn't organized a regional hang, you're really missing out. The Pacific Coast, Southwest, and Northeast have already hosted different hangs. We played games. We updated all of our members about what we're doing. We brainstormed ideas of how we can be effective activists in our communities. So keep an eye out for that. And then also we'll be rolling out state channels within our Slack workspace just temporarily in order to activate our members into chapters. And we're continuing to have discussions on how chapters will work with Humanity Forward. But if we can start getting people within states to talk to each other and come up with some plans and get to know each other, then that will help with that transition. And that's Regional Organizing Grow 10X.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendan. All right, diversity, inclusion, and outreach.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiara. I'm from Nashville. So Project Connect and Learn has been running at full steam in our working group. Every meeting, we've had new people joining and coming together. We've been connecting with Yang Gang through various social media. I've been primarily reaching out to people through Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit, inviting them to our weekly standing meetings, hearing their proposals, seeing their presentations, and gaining new perspectives. So that way we can continue to learn from those communities and the diversity within Yang Gang / Humanity First movement. So once again, we just want to encourage people to consider being a part of this, even if you just have suggestions of people within the Yang Gang who you think we might need to reach out to hear their perspectives. We would really appreciate it. And we would appreciate people coming to the channel through diversity inclusion when they're able to do so. That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. On to candidate support.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see all of you again. So I won't take up too much of your time, but want to talk about some of the candidates that we are helping out, pro-UBI candidates across the country. First of all, and most critical, is Heidi Briones, who was on last week. She is running for Congress in Oregon District 1. Their last day to submit ballots is Tuesday. Is this coming Tuesday on May 19th? So we've had several volunteers making calls, sending texts to talk to folks about Heidi, to try to reach out to the people who haven't submitted their ballots yet. So we're down to the wire. We could really use help on getting those calls out. So we'd appreciate any of you that could to head over to the candidate support channel, and we'll post some details there. Yeah, Heidi was endorsed by Marianne Williamson. Pretty cool moment. Jermaine Johnson, who I think you're going to hear from later, running in House District 80. We are going to be running a texting campaign for him this week. There were some changes in South Carolina to the absentee voting rules, to where anyone who wants to can vote absentee. Previously, it was only if you fell into those certain criteria. So we're going to be texting folks about changes to absentee voting rules to get them to come out early to vote for Jermaine. And then finally, Jonathan Herzog. We're going to be doing some phone banking and some text banking for him for some voter ID and persuasion. And in addition to that, we're going to be doing some kind of interesting work there, trying to push for a debate between Jonathan and the current incumbent there, who is Jerry Nadler. So it's going to be a pretty interesting. It's an interesting race to be a part of. So if you want to be involved, it's really exciting and really interesting to get involved with each of these different candidates in different parts of the country, different states, different races. Every race is different, and it's something new every day. So if you want to get involved, come join us over in the candidate support channel. I'll be posting mobilized links in there for each of these volunteer opportunities over the course of this week. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Drew. On to organization management.
Did we refresh the slides?
Oh, yes.
I mean, I can talk about this.
Sure. I just did a whole bunch of edits to clarify some things.
What's that?
Oh, I just needed the slide deck updated for the next couple slides.
Oh, okay. Or Massey, do you want to do this one?
Yeah. Sure. I probably shouldn't do onboarding just because maybe someone else does onboarding, but I'm down to do the org structure and I can throw in a bit
Okay,
about
yeah, well, onboarding is real easy. If someone, Tab or Catherine, want to jump in, but I will say our battle, but like the second iteration that we were talking about rolling out was the Battle Buddy Brigade. Yay! And that has been rolled out. We do have a channel for the Battle Buddy Brigade, and we're working on a SOP/guidelines for the Battle Buddies, but we've already doing like this beta rollout, and we have people who have signed up to be part of the Battle Buddy Brigade. So when people do join and they want that human touch to try and help walk them through, they can connect with a Battle Buddy who will help them. And that is the biggest update out of onboarding. I think we're also going to try and roll out the donut bot, so look for that to come out soon. Catherine, Tab, if either one of you have anything else for onboarding, and if not, I will hand it over to Massey.
So I'm gonna split this with Yini, but I do want to say onboarding has been, or not onboarding, sorry, org structure has been working hard along with decision science to sort of deliberate and slowly work towards giving us a better structure and consistency throughout our organization on how we can make decisions and make sure all voices are heard. We've been developing a few different iterations and focusing on getting a clear understanding of where we are now as an org, and are trying to build a plan on to get all the different parts and pieces, working groups in line, and a clear unified structure, and make sure that all the voices are going to the summit and the future structure that we're going to use to formalize our summits and communication with the board. But I'll let Yini sort of jump into the specifics on the org structure that we've been developing.
Thank you, Massey. Brenna, could you go to the next slide? So we have a org chart. This is not the time and place that we're going to be discussing it. I am hoping for everyone who would like to discuss anything for this to go to temp org chart feedback channel, which is listed below. And then there's also a PDF of these stages at that bit.ly link. So that's just for reference. And then, so this is kind of where we're at right now. We've named it council to differentiate it from what we're currently doing. We can name council whatever you want, summit, whatever. Like the names are not necessarily set in stone, but we're currently working on dividing up the responsibilities of the different working groups and figuring out what departments fit where and which working groups belong in each department. And this is what we've come up with so far. We've got 5 different departments. And the convention is a place that this will be happening to kind of formalize this, as well as kind of spread it a little bit more amongst the organization. We'll be talking about this more at the summit on Thursday. And so if your working groups have feedback on this, either come to the channel or send it up to the summit meeting for us to figure it out towards the end of the meeting, possibly making the meeting go long. And then the next slide is the proposed stage 2. We have the where we're at, which was the previous slide. This one's kind of the stepping stone between where we are now and where we want to be. This starts formalizing the departments, creating department level meetings, and formalizing a little bit of the connection between things. Right now, this does still have candidate support as being with Distributed Forward. And then Brenna, if you could go to the next slide. You'll see that these have kind of merged a little bit. They have council members being assigned to each working group so that we have to each department. So we have guaranteed contact between the working groups and the council or board or whatever we end up calling any of them. So we're looking to get some feedback from folks on this, and I hope to see you in that channel.
And just one thing I'd like to quickly reiterate that Yini mentioned early on is that one of the critical things we have to get done as an organization is making sure the clear responsibilities for each working group and have those sort of delineated and make sure there's not overlap. So we have two working groups spending a bunch of time and effort doing essentially the same thing. On the flip side, that we don't see a big gaping hole in something that should be getting done, but working groups not thinking it's under their purview, and leading to a error or something not getting done that needs to. So we again reiterate sort of the main workers and people in each group. Create a list of what you think your working group is responsible for, and send it over to the people at org structure, and we'll help bring the different working groups and formalize that in the process for the charter that we're building. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So moving on to comms.
Brendan?
I'm so sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, yeah, so we just had a meeting with communications. We've been spinning off some subgroups. If anyone wants to get involved, these are brand new subgroups that need your participation. So one of them is content creation. They're going to be working on articles for our upcoming blog, memes for social media, graphics and videos to help onboard and train our members. If you have an artistic bone in your body or your more technical skills, we could really use your help with creating this content to get it out there. Like I keep on saying, communications is the lifeblood of social movements. So this is gonna, if you're concerned about outreach or growing our numbers, this is vital. Then we also have the social media subgroup. We'll be recruiting teams to conduct outreach to Yang Gang and Humanity First groups to provide news and information, volunteer opportunities. This is going to be vital. And then we also have a subgroup to roll out the website, which should be published tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really hoping that happens.
It got pushed back.
Got pushed back? Okay. Well,
the next slide has that discussion.
No worries, no worries. I'd rather that we had a higher quality website that had buy-in from everyone, so they'll continue to work on that. So, and then we're reaching out to establish Humanity First Movement affiliates. So for example, Facebook and Discord will have official HFM affiliate communities to offer members news and updates and serve as a community hub. And also, I just want to remind everyone, we have an official Twitter account, so please follow us at HF Movement, and we'll be posting there more regularly with what is happening in this organization, so keep up to date that way. We're also working on a glossary of terms. What is a DRI? What is consent? What are rounds? There's all kinds of words that we use that we could really help our new members to understand them right from the beginning. So if there's a word that confuses you, jump into that Google Doc there and ask a question, and we'll get that glossary rolled out soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendan. On to tech.
Sorry. Cut me off. So the website tech-wise is nearly complete. We've got a couple things that are being tweaked. And then content generation for it is really where we're needing help. As Brendan mentioned in the previous, we've got content creation as a need. We need to get blogs and content up on there before we can really get it out there. And we also are evaluating email platforms in terms of sending emails out to everyone for newsletters. So I'm currently going through 30+ options and would love some help if anyone wants to do some data crunching, which is mostly just looking at websites and copy and pasting links. And then the CRM, we are in discussions to figure out which one will be right for us. And once we get that, we'll be able to, in conjunction with the website and the email platform for the email marketing, we'll be able to really jump everything that we're doing into its next phase. And I'm really excited to see how close these are starting to come to fruition.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yenny. So COVID response and emergency UBI.
Hey.
Hello.
So we had a protest this weekend. Hi guys, I'm Kimberly again, and I've been working with the Income Movement on getting this up and running, and we had a great turnout all across the country. We also had, I think, 5 candidates show up and take part, including 2 from New York, Herzog and another, and then Suzanne Hugg in Arizona, David Kim in LA, and Heidi Briones in Oregon. And here in San Diego, we had one as well. We had a decent turnout. It was a little complicated due to the same site being used by Reopen California protests that had about 500 people there. So there was a little bit of interestingness there. But we did great, and everyone did awesome setting their events up, and press was there at many locations. You can see there's a link to the Phoenix one. They got some live footage there, so that was great. And I put up a link. Lots of links have been floating around. There's a link to written article done here in San Diego that was released this morning, and all kinds of other stuff. So please give everyone a pat on the back and shout out for all their hard work. It was a big push, and let's hope that our efforts make a difference. I think that we are definitely making the word be known. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Peter, for hosting the Zoom call and making it available for all of us to stay connected and have wonderful music.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly, and to everybody else who participated with the protest and car parade over the weekend. Y'all are doing really good, important work. On to Yang Gang Goes to Congress.
All right, thank you very much. So since we're still a relatively new working group, I wanted to cover what our mission is, which is the purpose of our group is to not only get us to speak before Congress, but also to bring people from around the Yang Gang, from all political backgrounds, to depoliticize this issue so that it can't be used as sort of a political talking point. We wanted to make sure that our speakers have all the information that they need on the current bills and be able to speak with authority on certain issues. So we have certain members of our speaking group who are experts in their field, such as Carl Winderquist and Scott Santons. So our current speakers and video submissions, in our latest meeting, we had all of our speakers submit a video of their testimony, which we'll be going over in the next Tuesday meeting, to cover the fine points of it, to make sure that we're staying on track and within time. I will also be putting up an application on social media, and more information on how to join. I'll be posting that up on Slack on Monday afternoon. And also, myself and Brendan Carpenter have a meeting that's currently being scheduled with Senator Sinema's policy director, where we'll be explaining the benefits of universal basic income, not only for the state of Arizona, but for the nation. And we'll be putting in our pitch to get an invite to speak before Congress at that time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angelo. Again, really important work being done in this group too. It's a great way to get involved with your local politicians as well, to help grow those relationships for the future. Awesome. So this is not for talking, this is for your consumption later. There is a link to this deck of slides. So these are all the working group meetings and the different channels that you can join. If you heard anything that you were interested in, if there's things that you think need improvement, help us improve, help us grow, join one of these working groups that you think that you will have the biggest impact in. Also, don't join too many. Again, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, so keep that in mind. Figure out what you're most passionate about and start there. Cool. So an update on phone banking. So we have the Humanity Forward COVID Relief Fund. There have been over 54,000 applicants to this date now. The goal of this relief fund is to send out $250 micro grants to as many of those applicants as possible. So we had just rolled out our self-training. So now train yourself, get yourself up and running in about 30 minutes. You just watch a video and take a quiz, and then you'll be ready to start making phone calls. So the link to that self-onboarding is in here, and I'll drop it in the chat in a little bit. Please feel free to share this link far and wide. People do not have to be politically active. People do not have to be Andrew Yang supporters. This is more about getting money into people's hands. It's extremely rewarding. We are still needing about 150 plus volunteers to be able to meet the need that we have, so we can actually get this money into people's hands. On that same note, we are having a big weekend of action this coming weekend. So Humanity Forward and Andrew will be pushing to recruit a bunch of volunteers for a massive calling weekend. Our goal is to get through our entire list, call and speak with these people, and get them money as soon as possible. For this, we will be using an automated dialer, so it'll go a lot faster for you all. You will just call, like sit, call, and then you'll be connected to people time and time again. So it's going to be a really efficient thing to do. So we are looking for as many people to volunteer over the next weekend, over the coming weekend, to help us get money into people's hands. And again, you can join, you can make a couple calls, you can make as many calls as you want to, but we are really asking for people to just hop on even for just an hour over the weekend and make some phone calls. So you'll see a lot of information in the coming week on social media, through email, things like that, about this weekend of action.
So what if we're available to do it during the weekday? Is that helpful, or do you really want us to make time on the weekend?
Oh, so if you're able to do it during the weekdays, we have that regular training you can go through, and you can make the dials through the open virtual phone bank. Over the weekend, though, we'll be using an automated dialer, because the more people you have calling, the faster the calls are connected. So there's just economies of scale on an automated dialer. So that's why we're focusing on some weekend of actions, but we do have that regular calling you can make during the weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Awesome. So current volunteer opportunities.
I don't know why it wouldn't unmute. Sorry. Hi, Yenny again. So right now we don't currently have a full volunteer operations group. We are looking to grow that. In the meantime, Tom and I and Gray have been kind of putting together the back end for it. And so this is kind of what I've seen happening on Slack and around what we're doing. So if any working groups have anything else that they would like added to these, please contact us to make sure they get included next week. So right now we are looking for Humanity Hang moderators. We've got and help.
Are we losing Yenny?
I think we lost Yenny. Gray or Tom, do you want to pick up this slide? Because Yenny's gone.
I can jump in. Yes, we have Yenny down. So if you are interested in joining any of the working groups, there are always opportunities. Like we've been saying, this is a chance to find the things that you enjoy the most and really hone in on those. So don't try and join too many working groups. I'm trying to pull back and focus in. So we'll advertise which working groups have active projects, have needs for different volunteers, and make sure that we're communicating with as many people as possible to spread that information and get you involved. I believe
I am back. I missed what you said, unfortunately, but I did want to just make a quick on it. The communications and content creation ones, we super duper need people now. That otherwise we're not going to be able to start reaching out to get volunteers to come in. And that regional organizing is really about getting everyone from that state level reconnected. So we need that help there too. Sorry if I repeated.
Thank you, Yenny. All right, so volunteer opportunities. Is that same thing? These are here for you to use in the future. Click on this slide, follow the links. You'll be able to find some different volunteer opportunities with our partner organizations. All right, Brendan, are you ready?
Oh, we're ready. We've been doing the math.
I'm going
to backwards, but
refresh my screen.
Nice poster, Brendan.
job. Refreshing. I lost the slide because I was refreshing. My apologies, everyone.
Here we go.
Long drum roll.
Who's it gonna be?
A long drum roll, everyone. I am so sorry.
I could just announce it.
Congratulations.
There we go. All right. So Massey Branscombe of Texas, Yanni Desroches from Massachusetts, Catherine Maloney from Massachusetts, Ian Radner from Tennessee, and Nicholas Weinheimer from Missouri. Our new board member.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Everyone. Great work.
And again, just to reiterate, if you were not elected, please stay active. There's always next time.
There is.
And our working groups also need help too.
So many working groups that need help. So pick your favorite working group and get to making an impact. I will say that I think that a lot of people, as an exiting board member, a lot of the people in the working groups do make more of an impact in the way that our organization is structured and how our different volunteer opportunities work. So that is a great way to make a really big impact. So now I get to introduce Dr. Jermaine Johnson as our candidate spotlight today.
Is it up? Am I ready? Am I going?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's go time.
All righty. Everybody. First of all, let me congratulate everybody who just was elected. I know you all are going to do some great work. Us candidates out here, we need you. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything that everybody out here is doing. What is it? 53 people on here. I mean, that's freaking amazing. So you know, I want to say thank you and congratulations to everybody. But I really want to just say everybody thank you for you know listening to me and having me on here. A lot of y'all, and I say this in a lot of meetings, a lot of y'all don't realize that I was really just the South Carolina guy. Like I literally was just the South Carolina political guy. But the Yang Gang actually made me Dr. Johnson. Like y'all started calling me Dr. Johnson. And people like Tom Jeffrey was running around the state hyping me up to everybody saying, no, listen, this is Dr. Jermaine Johnson. And I kept telling, no, I'm just Jermaine. So, you know, thank you, Tom, for you doing what you do, Tom. You know, the one, see, he's even writing in the chat right now, the one and only. So it's people like him and Barrett Hurd that, you know, kind of helped me to being the individual I am now. I'm running for South Carolina House of Representatives District 80. Things are looking quite very well right now as they, as they sit. We have really disrupted an 20-something-year-old system that has been going on for so long, and people are really upset. There's some people that are upset that I've gained the traction that I have gained so far. I'm stealing away lifelong supporters of the other side. A Republican just the other day gave me $1,000, which is the max contribution they can give you in South Carolina. So, you know, I've been doing some good things, and I've been able to garner the support of a lot of individuals here. Tomorrow, we will be rolling out some more endorsements. We've got one with Bakari Sellers, who's been on CNN with Andrew. He was a state rep here, and he actually ran for lieutenant governor here. So we've got that one rolling out. A lot of people don't know, but we've got, we also have Planned Parenthood that's going to be rolling out very soon. We have the conservation voters of South Carolina. We've got a lot of elected officials. We're rolling out J.A. Moore. He's a state rep as well this week. And then you saw Humanity Forward just put out that tweet that we're going to do a live press conference on this Friday. This Friday, we are having a live press conference. And that's with myself, Bakari Sellers, J.A. Moore, Zach Grauman, and Andrew Yang, of course. And we're going to announce something amazing for South Carolina. I'm sure some of you all could probably guess it, but it wasn't planned to come to South Carolina until I got with Andrew and said, Andrew, listen, we need this stuff to come to South Carolina. So, you know, Andrew has become a really good friend of mine, and he has, you know, supported me through everything. So we've got this stuff coming to South Carolina. However, with all this cool stuff that's going on, we need your help. We've got to have your help. We need as many people to assist as possible. We need, you know, some phone bankers. We need about 10. We're going to ask for 10 phone bankers to help us out. between now and June 9th, we want to make an additional 3,000 phone calls. And what I'm telling you all tonight, whoever can get the most individuals that will that can get committed voters, people on the phone that will say, you know what, yes, I am voting for Jermaine Johnson. Whoever gets the most of those, I'm gonna send them a couple of shirts signed by myself, as well as a couple of hats signed by myself. All right, so if we can get as many people as possible to commit to vote for me, I'm gonna send you some stuff and make sure that you all are taken care of. We got to win this. You know, all this, we don't want all this work to go, you know, for nothing. We want to continue this movement. We want to continue doing what we've been doing. And you know, we're only 23 days away, as you can see. But you know, in South Carolina, we changed the General Assembly just changed some things. So now we can vote any day we want to vote now. So, you know, if you get people that say they can vote, say, hey, all right, well, can you vote tomorrow? All right, because they can vote any day now up until June 9th because of the coronavirus pandemic. But again, if I have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them at this time. But yeah, I mean, we're hearing some great stuff. We're gonna do some great things, and thank y'all again for having me.
Awesome, thank you. So we will take questions by raise of hand. So, or you can drop it in the chat. So it looks like Catherine has a question.
Ooh, Dr. Johnson. So what was it about Andrew Yang's vision that you're inspired by? And so what are you taking to South Carolina? Like how does, you know, what we all get excited about, how do you want to apply that in South Carolina?
So what Andrew did for me, thank you for that question, but what Andrew did for me was he talked about actual solutions. The first person that I was really supporting was Cory Booker. You know, I tell people a lot about that all the time. You know, when I saw Cory Booker speak, I saw him on like a Facebook post like 3-4 years ago. And I said, man, this man right here, he might be our next president. And I even met him. And I said, man, you might be our next president when I talked to him. But, you know, the more research I did, I saw that Cory Booker was really just he was great at oratory skills. He had great oratory skills. And, you know, he was able to speak to me and speak, you know, and just make me feel good. But I said, you know, that's not enough. That's not enough in this time. We need somebody who's actually solving the issues, solving the problems. And I work in workforce development. So I go around these different companies and I look to find jobs for the less fortunate. And I was seeing in these big companies like Michelin out here, how they had all these automated jobs in there. Like they had robots and things like that, robotic arms and things that were doing jobs. And I was like, man, like how many jobs is taken away from people? And then that's when I came across Andrew talking about he wanted to give people $1,000 a month. And then when I read his book and I came into that, I said, oh my God, like he's talking about the exact things that I'm literally seeing every single day on my job. Like, so I saw what he was talking about. And when I saw what he was talking about, I said, man, I got to get behind this guy. You know, I put my all in there. So even when I was getting flack from everybody else, you know, about why is this black guy supporting this Asian guy, you know, and why are you supporting this guy? He's never going to make it past August. He's never going to make it past this time. He's never going to do anything. You know, I said, I don't care. I believe in this man. I believe in what he's talking about, and he's really going to fix some things. Because if I had an Andrew Yang as a president when I was growing up, my life would have been completely different. So I believe wholeheartedly in that man. And when I gave him I was offered by all these other, you know, presidential candidates to leave Andrew and go join them. I turned down one of the candidates actually offered me about 2 or 3 times the amount of money that Andrew was paying me, and I turned it down. Because I believed in Andrew, I believed in this message, and I stayed with them. You know, they were worried that I was going to leave for a long time, but I said, don't, you know, I'm committed, I'm loyal, and I'm committed, and I'm going to stay here, you know, with Andrew. So I was driving all over the state. You know, when I was the only employee for Andrew, I was driving all over South Carolina, talking to everybody, talking to all the officials, you know, and I was doing all that by myself for a long time. I put about 30,000 miles on my brand new car for Andrew, man. So, you know, I stuck with them, and now they're sticking with me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Jacob, you've got a hand too.
Yes, Jermaine, I was listening to you on the Humanity Forward podcast with Tom, and you said that you had some UBI stuff that you could put into action on day one. I was wondering if you could let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give y'all the pre-version information about this thing going on. So I'm actually going to be talking about it on Friday with Andrew and in our press conference. But I'm putting out on day one, I'm gonna be putting in some legislation, filing a bill that's called the Palmetto Dividend Fund. And the Palmetto Dividend Fund is a version of like a universal basic income, and it's paid for based on a local level. And it will provide every South Carolinian $400 a year, because we know most Americans cannot afford a $400 unexpected bill. So we are going to try to eliminate that problem by giving them a $400 a year check. And that's what we're going to be, it's going to be the first in the country of a state level UBI without any philanthropic supporters. So it's going to be the only one that's out there. And, you know, I got with some of the Yang, the people that used to work for Yang's policy team, and we got together and we wrote this thing up and we got some research, and we think it's going to look good. And I got some support on it. So I think it's going to be something we can get done in South Carolina.
Awesome. So for the sake of time, we can go 3 more questions. We've got Massey, Burke, and then Andrew. So Massey, go ahead and ask your question.
All right, unmuting myself. There we go. Hey, Jermaine, glad to see you and have you on in here and here talking. So I wanted to ask you, from your experience, what do you think would be like the number 1 and maybe 2 most important things we could do as an organization to push the momentum and energy forward, just from sort of your perspective?
So thank you for that. So what y'all could really, really do is keep the Yang Gang together, because what we know is what happened is, you know, after Andrew dropped out and when he endorsed Biden, you know, a lot of people dispersed. A lot of people went other ways and all that. So if you looked at my Twitter, even after he did all that, you know, I tried to keep everybody together to make everybody see that, hey, listen, we're not leaving. We're still we're a movement. We're more than just Andrew Yang and Andrew Yang's ideas. We are an actual movement of humanity first. So, you know, if you all can continue to keep the positivity out there and keep people together, no matter, you know, what Andrew does, we can still be our own entity of humanity first. That's what he brought together. That's what he brought us to say, you know, we're not left, we're not right, we're going forward. So, you know, just continue to push that whole message of, no matter if Andrew's here or there, we are humanity first. We're here for people, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep trying to move society and keep moving people forward and keep trying to help people as much as possible. We also need to keep out the naysayers, keep out the people who are going to try to infiltrate and try to, you know, give you the bad message and try to give you that. Let's continue, because one thing I really loved when Andrew was running was, you know, the Yang Gang really held each other accountable. We talked to each other like, hey, no, this isn't humanity first. And this is not what we like in our group, you know, and people held each other accountable. We have lost that. So, you know, recently we have lost people keeping each other accountable. We need to get back to holding each other accountable, making sure that we're all, you know, doing humanity first, because genuinely the Yang Gang made me a better person. And I know it made a lot of other people, you know, better people. It made me a better person. And I want us to continue doing that. We have got to do that. And somebody see, yeah, we need to reaffirm our core values. Absolutely. We need to reaffirm our core values, and we got to get back to that. And when you do that, don't support any candidate that's jumping in here saying that, hey, I'm for UBI. Don't just support all of them. No, we need to support the ones that actually have our core values in their best heart, because we're going to have anybody who's trying to get that. We need to have the people who truly have humanity first in their core values.
Well, your answers gave me goosebumps. I really appreciate that. Very well spoken.
Awesome, thank you. So we've got Burke and Andrew with questions. Burke, go ahead.
Hello, how are you, sir? Really quickly, I'd like an opportunity to talk to you perhaps later. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I personally am running for UBI in Nevada, for a statewide UBI. So I'm running for the state assembly. And I mean, you touched on a little bit about the UBI. I'd like to hear a little bit more about it. Anything more you can say now? Or like I said, I'd love to have an opportunity to talk to you later privately.
Yeah, you can shoot me an email at info@johnsonforsc.com. info@johnsonforsc.com. And yeah, we can set up some time to talk, because, you know, if we can get it passed in South Carolina, we can get it passed anywhere. So, because South Carolina is super red. So we can get it passed in South Carolina, we can get it passed anywhere. And I'd be glad to talk to you about, you know, the ideas on what we were working on in terms of, you know, getting it paid for on a local level, because, you know, we did all of the numbers And we only need $1.2 billion to give that $400 a year. So, you know, and that's only going to raise our state budget by like 6% or something like that. So, you know, it's not a real hard thing to do. We can do it, and it's only going to cost certain people who are making over $120,000 like an extra, you know, $20 or something. You know, and you have to spend over $40,000 in retail. So I mean, we can break it all the way down, and we could definitely talk. So just shoot me an email.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Andrew is our last question for Dr. Jermaine Johnson. Take it away.
Hi, Jermaine. I think your message is really great, and it's so glad that you're able to spread that to South Carolina. I know other states like Alaska have their oil fund, and I know Nevada could implement a UBI using their casino money that they have there. I was curious on just how, kind of what sort of means are you going to go about trying to implement a statewide UBI? Because I know in other states they've had issues trying to implement something like that just because they don't have a certain industry they can target or a certain way to get the money. So I don't know if you can use like a VAT tax or just kind of what kind of form are you using to pay for it?
Yeah. So we have every year we have a reoccurring surplus of $863 million. Right. So because we have this reoccurring, and this past year we actually had a surplus of $1.8 billion. Right. So every year we've already got this surplus. So because we've got the surplus, we're going to take 80 million of the surplus that we already have every single year. So 80 million out of 863 reoccurring. I mean, it's a small portion of that. Right. So we're going to take 80 million of that. We also are talking about adding a 1% retail sales tax on people on like, you know, different items. And then we're going to talk about adding a 1% income tax on people who make over $165,000 a year. And because of that, it's going to allow us to get like an extra, I think it was an extra 300 something million just from, you know, a little portion of that. And that's going to give us the money that we need. So it's not going to affect the people who are at the bottom. It's going to help them. But the people who won't benefit are only going to be the people who are spending over $40,000 a year on retail, you know, items. So I mean, I don't know very many people who spend over $40,000 a year on retail items. You know, so the people who are in my community, you know, are going to benefit tremendously from this policy. I mean, just the basic individuals are going to benefit right now. I actually spoke to Jamie Harrison about it, and Jamie Harrison actually likes the idea. He likes the UBI stuff. We've talked about it, you know. So I do believe this is something that we can get past.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Just to point out, again, we've got a link to sign up to volunteer, and then there's contact information as well. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we say goodbye, Dr. Jermaine Johnson?
Everybody, again, thank you so much for having me on here. I'm so appreciative. Thank you all for everything that you all have ever done for me. You all have literally changed my life. I mean, every follow on Twitter, every you know, every shout out, every message that you all have given me, you all have literally changed my life. And I'm so appreciative of everything that you all have done, every donation, every dollar, everything. You all are some amazing individuals, and I believe that, you know, as long as we continue working together, that we're literally going to change the world. No matter, you know, win, lose, draw, whatever happens in my race, I'm going to be Yang Gang forever. I'm always going to be a supporter of you all. I'm going to be around, and please, you know, if you have any questions, you have my information, reach out, and thank you all so much for being a part of what we're going to do for the future.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Have a fantastic evening, and best of luck in your upcoming election. And again, another ask. Thank you, people, to volunteer so that we can get this man elected. All right. So we are going to then move into our final section of the evening, which is our open comment section. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and we will take hands and questions in the comments. Or in the comments as well. Since we are past our normal stopping time, we're going to go ahead and cap this section to 15 minutes because we do have another meeting for new board members and exiting board members after this. So we will have about 15 minutes for questions. Does anybody have a hand? I'm not seeing any thus far.
Oh, I have an announcement to make.
Go for it.
Oh, so the southeastern region, the southeastern region of the Humanity First movement is holding an event on Tuesday through Zoom. It is a southeastern hang, and it's going to be absolutely great. We're going to have it's going to be a pretty laid back, a lot of fun. We get to chat. It's going to be really amazing. There's a flyer for it up on Slack. We hope to see a lot of you there.
Does the Southeast include Texas?
The Southeast actually include, the Southeast is, our Southeastern one is going to have, this is for Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Kentucky.
Awesome. Thank you.
So please come join us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. All right, Rachel, you are next.
Thank you. I had a question / comment on the voting procedures. I was wondering how we arrived at the decision to do basically ranking each candidate 0 through 5 rather than, I'm not familiar with all of the theory behind ranked choice voting, but I thought, is there also a possibility to rank your top 5 candidates or something like that? I was just wondering whether it's possible for people to kind of, if they have one candidate they're going for, rank that person a 5 and everyone else 0, and thereby kind of weighting the process differently than it's meant to be weighted.
I can take that.
Thank you, Catherine. I was going to ask
Okay.
you.
So what I realized that we didn't do very well is because we didn't put enough information up in the form explaining how the star voting works. So it's a scoring process where you're kind of giving everybody points. And, there's a couple of different strategies for that kind of voting. Sometimes people literally look at every candidate and then they assess them is this person really strong? I give them a 5. Is this person someone that I don't think is very strong? I give them a 0 or some number in between. And other people bullet vote where they're I really want this certain handful of candidates or single candidate, and I give them a 5 and I give everybody else a 0. So, you can't stop strategic voting. And then at the end of the day, all of those scores add up, but then they start looking at the, then there's a little bit more to it. It's STAR stands for score and then rank. So it gets into, they kind of take a cut of the top N candidates. So I think it's either 7 or 8 if you're looking for 5. And then there it starts looking at the differences. So, how polarizing is the candidate? So it's not just based on the score. It then is doing a little bit more complicated math that Robin made this for us. And then Yenny had another person kind of check it. And, there's a little bit more to it. But I realized we didn't
goes
really
through a
explain
similar, it goes through a similar thing at the end that ranked choice voting does, where the bottom one gets pulled out and then the next people on that list, the numbers from that get.
It actually works the opposite way. It starts with the top 2 candidates and it does a runoff against them. And then it, if the person who was the top score candidate, they kind of end up in position and then they just kind of keep going down and having these instant one-on-one runoffs all the way down to the final position. So yeah, we can release the anonymized scores and the code if anyone wants to kind of check this, but we've already had some folks come in and internally check it. But the other thing to know is that, we're taking feedback every time to kind of change the process, and there is a convention that has been called. So there's a channel, a number 3 OM convention, where they're going to work through like a similar process to what Arizona did, you know, to kind of make the organization and, you know, how should all of these things be decided. So it's possible that there could be a whole other way of selecting whatever that core body is that interacts with Humanity Forward on behalf of all the chapters.
It
I don't
doesn't
know
look.
if I answered your question.
It doesn't look that channel's created yet. The convention channel.
Oh, maybe I typed in the name wrong. But
It was added charter to the middle of it. I just put the new one in.
Oh, you changed the name of it. All right, I missed that.
Yeah. There are some concerns that it would mean a convention where people were actually meeting in person, which it's not, and to convey that it's probably going to go over a little bit longer time and not a weekend sort of thing.
Awesome. Does that answer your question a little bit better, Rachel?
Yeah, it does. I think it would be good to have a little bit blast of that information before the next vote, because I thought that it would be like wrong to vote strategically, but if that's factored into the process, then
it can't be avoided. I mean, people are going to do what they want to do. Like personally, I like, you know, I don't know. I don't bullet vote, but you know, other people, it's something we can't avoid becoming like a strategic reality as people, you know, have strong opinions. And they, like, I even had people tell me, they're like, okay, I'm going to vote you lower because I really like this other candidate, no hard feelings. And I was like, you didn't even need to tell me that, but I don't care. Like any of those 11 candidates probably would have been awesome and fine. So at this point, you know, it doesn't matter.
It also, in comparison to ranked choice voting, it's a lot less gameable than ranked choice voting is, and there's also less of a spoiler effect.
Yeah.
That sometimes.
The other thing is like all the comments that are happening in the chat, all the stuff that people are saying, that's going to be pulled into a feedback document, and then as we figure out how are we going to do it June 28th. So, you know, there was a big change from last time to this time based on all the feedback we got about how, you know, what people didn't like about it the last time.
Awesome, thank you. So Catherine, your hand is up. Was that to answer that question or was that a different question?
No, that was to answer that question, which I hope I was somewhat helpful.
Perfect, thank you. I do not see any hands or green check marks. Does anybody have a question, comment, concern, thought, or feeling that they would like to share in the remaining 10 minutes of open comment period? Okay, I don't hear anything.
I just want to say directly what I said in the chat, which is that I believe that there's not really a point to making these reports if you don't want any feedback from anyone. I literally can't make it to all of the working groups, and I know none of you can. So if you want to still have input, this is the meeting where we come to get some input, I think.
Yes, you're also welcome to come into the channels at any time and communicate with us directly with the working groups that you've got questions for. You can come into the channels, ask questions, make comments on things, even if you can't make it to the meetings.
Also, the Drive, Google Drive has all the agendas, the notes of what's been talked about, said, decided, and the directive documents is also a good resource as well.
And also want to add in that even if you can't make all the meetings, Faye, it is helpful if you are able to make a few. Like, I don't think there's an expectation that, oh, I want to help out with communications, or oh, I want to help out with elections, and you show up to one or two and then add your feedback, listen to kind of what's being discussed, and then contribute when you can. I don't think there's any issue with that or an expectation that you have to be at every single one if that's not possible for you.
And Faye, just to circle back, I hear you. There are a lot of working group meetings, and there is absolutely no way to physically and emotionally attend all of those meetings to get done what you think needs to be done. But this open comment at the end is exactly where you can, oh no, Faye got kicked out. Oh man.
She's coming right back in.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Someone booted her out.
Hey, we lost you. Faye. Faye.
That's not the kind of culture we want to create here.
Yeah. No dissent, no arguing. You get booted.
No, she's here.
No, I fell out because somebody called me and I'm on my phone and it automatically kicked me.
Sorry.
So yeah, it had
What
nothing
was
at all to
saying
do with
is-
any.
or
I heard
also-
part of what Grace said. I just want to say that a lot of people are super busy, including me and Zephyr. If they can make one meeting and make some input here, I think that, that has to be a kind of participation that we come. I mean, I'm still sad to see 60, 70 people show up to something. I think we need to have like 300,
Mom, I made one of my
So-
banners and Minecraft looks like an
Oh my
American.
goodness.
Summarize a little bit for you. Oh, that's totally fine. To summarize what we kind of talked about, because a couple people hopped in. So first and foremost, yes, there are too many meetings for any one person to attend, like emotionally or physically. So that is completely valid. You can always send feedback directly into those channels. If there's something that's going on, like post in that channel and give your feedback for it. And then this time right now is exactly when you should be raising those kinds of thoughts and concerns at the end. We have this open comment period so that you can ask those clarifying questions and you can express any concerns that you do have, because we do want to hear feedback from everybody too. So use this time to give that feedback.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope everybody feels comfortable, putting in 2 cents, even if they can't make it to a working group. Because if this is the chance you get to hear about something and you still have something you'd want to share or have an opinion on, try to put it in now. So I know everybody has a working group. Somebody presented for your working group, so you could write it down and take it back to the working group for us.
And so, like, I feel like a little clarification needs to be made in terms of working group. Like, working groups have meetings each week, but the working groups themselves are the channels in the Slack, and those are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you ever have a comment or concern for a particular working group, you can always just go in and join the chat there. You don't have to be able to make it to a specific meeting.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, because I know I can't. So that's my feedback mechanism. But Catherine looks like she's got a hand.
So one thing I want to say is they're trying to improve this so it's easier for folks to like go into a channel and know what the heck is going on in there. So the working group channels are starting to have this state of the channel pinned post, where it's basically the summary of this is what we're working on right now. So when you kind of go to a channel, you can kind of look at that, and then also with the presentations here, and we use the chat sometimes, like when you have a comment for someone that you want to remember later, you can throw it in there so you remember it at the end of the meeting, and we paste the chat into the meeting minutes as well. So yeah, I think, the reason why they kind of said, okay, no comments during the presentation was we started to have these long discussions, and then the meeting started getting really long and really late. So just wanted to give people the freedom to drop off at the hour mark if they wanted to. But, there is a healthy chat going on, and then the comment period at the end, but just not having this meeting go on for, an hour and a half or longer.
Yeah, I can say here in Atlanta during the campaign, we would have weekly meetings that typically had an attendance of anywhere from 7 to 12 people, nowhere near as many as on this call. And without an agenda, we reached a point where our meetings were going on 3-4 hours. And we can't be asking that of everyone every single week, especially given that with as many people as show up to this call, it could go on all night. It really could.
And the discussion/hang part afterwards has gone all night. We've had one that went till 3 a.m.
We had one
Eastern
that was
time.
9 hours.
That's true.
That's too much for me. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions that they wanted to share? All right. Well, I want to say thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for hanging out and voting. Voting is exceptionally important. And then I would also like to say that it's been an honor serving on the board and hosting these weekend meetings. And I'm not going away, but I will miss doing this with you all. But have a fantastic rest of your night. And then Yenny, do you have that breakout room set up?
I can do so.
Hey,
I've
Brenna.
never
Thank you,
done
Brenna.
a breakout room before though, so
Yeah, great job, Brenna.
Here, when you leave as host?
What was that?
Who's going to host this Zoom when you kind of join the breakout room?
We are about to discuss that.
Oh. I don't know who does that.
Well, I think we'll discuss that when we meet with the new board.
No, what I mean is the board's all going to leave, so who's going to host everyone that's here if they want to have a hangout?
Ooh.
Here we go.
Unless somebody wants to host.
Just make someone a co-host.
Yes. Who wants to host? Who volunteers to be the host here of the after party?
I can do it.
Yes. All right, let's make Joyce the co-host.
All right.
It's going to be a great hang by the time we get back.
Big responsibility.
All right, I am missing people, I think.
All right.
Can someone do a runoff on, let me see, I've got Brendan, Brenna, GPS, Gray, Ian, Catherine, Massey, Niklaus, Stasha, Tab, Tom. Is anyone else in here that's, I might be missing your name on the list? Did I miss anyone? I don't think I did.
Ian?
Ian's on the list. I've never done breakout rooms before. I apologize. I think I got everyone.
Aha. Somebody's got a mechanical keyboard besides me. I hear it.
That would be Brendan.
I knew it. I knew it. Yes.
All right, so the outgoing and incoming board are headed over. If I missed someone and you did not get the notification to go over there, let me know. I will add you.
Yenny, can you make Joyce a co-host before you go over?
Yes.
All right, have a great meeting.
All right, Joyce is the host.
Enjoy the hang.
Yeah, see you when we get back.
Oh, I will. See you guys soon, ish.
Well, I'm technically the host, but I have nothing in particular to say. So everybody else just handle the social interaction.
Hi,
no
Joyce. Did I do something wrong?
Nope. Hi.
Why am I back here? I should have been in the breakout room.
Yenny, you'll see a link on the side for the breakout room. Just click that and it'll hop you back over there. You see the breakout room? Just click on it.
I don't see the breakout room.
Oh boy.
Oh, wait. I think I found it. I'll try again. Bye again.
All right, have a good meeting. Yenny has left the building.
Is this portion recorded?
No, this portion is not recorded. This is just for us to hang out and
It's
talk and have a good time.
I need to. It says recording.